and welcome to another episode of Life Lessons in Bon Jovi songs. And we've now broken the chronological order, so I try to do the life lessons starting with the earliest songs and then moving up. But I was already doing life lessons on very rare songs that were originally written for the third album. And then I found this 90-second clipping of a song that was originally written for the second album. So that's the Fahrenheit album. And I have it here. It's from 1985. And the other songs that I was already doing were from the 1986 album Slippery When Wet. So we're kind of like going back in time to to pick up this new song that I found and create a life lesson about it. I have to say that I really count on this happening more often. So I've created a playlist with all the rare songs, and you can just see like, oh, that's the chronological order of all the songs that I have for you now. All the rare songs, not the regular album songs, and it's called rolling list, and rolling means that you can make adjustments as you go. So I really expect that I'll be, discovering new songs which I originally missed. And so this whole idea of them going back in time and creating a life lesson from that one, and then stepping back into the chronological order, I really expect that will be happening more often. So it happened today for the very first time, but it will not be the last. So, too fast to live, too young to die is a sentence that has been attributed to Malcolm McLaren, who is the inventor of punk. So he is a fashion designer, and he's a fashion designer, and he invented punk, and this was his his phrase, his quote. It's from him. So and he also was the. I said he was a fashion designer. I have no idea why I said that or why I thought that, because I have it right here. He was the manager from the British punk band, the Sex Pistols. Why do I think Malcolm McLaren is a fashion designer when he's the manager of the Sex Pistols? I mean, those are two completely different professions. I have no idea why I thought that. It's just really, funny how the mind works. Okay, so it is his quote, his very kind of like punk quote, too fast to live, too young to die. However, that is not the association that I have with the with this sentence, because it is a very rare Juliette Lewis and Brad Pitt film. So this is really, I think, about 1990, where I know it's about 1990, where there was like a television production. So there were movies that were usually true stories, and this is one of them. There were movies that were created just for television. And Juliette Lewis, who's an actress, and Brad Pitt, who's an actor, were both in at the beginning, at the earliest stages of their careers, and they met on this set of this film. And you can actually sometimes find the film, and if you go through the secondhand DVDs, it will come up. You will see it, and it's actually a DVD that I have. I know that I had it, and then I got rid of it, and now I was like at the verge of buying it again, because it was like, it's a Juliette Lewis film and Brad Pitt. Like, why don't you have that in your collection? I mean, I love Juliette Lewis and I love Brad Pitt. And, but then I saw it on, and I knew it was bad. It was like so tragic. It was so deeply disturbing. It was like what we would now call in 2025, like it was just triggering. Like you could, like how anyone could make a movie like that. It's based on a true story, so that's of course what makes it even harder to digest. Yeah. So it's just so dark, so tough to process, and but because of these two actors, which I just really love, and they met on this set, and then they became a couple. I was like, I have to have it, but then no, I watched the first 3 minutes, I think, on YouTube, and I was like, oh no, this is just, I can't deal with it. So that is the movie where this title immediately reminds me of. So the title of this clipping of this song from Bon Jovi is "Too Fast to Live, Too Young to Die." The quote from Malcolm McLaren, who is not a fashion designer, but who's the manager of the Sex Pistols. Um, but it reminds me immediately of this movie, which is called "Too Young to Die." And uh, so it really brought up kind of like memories. Why? It's not my memories. I wasn't there. In 1990, I was not in California making this movie. I did not see Brad Pitt and Juliette Lewis, but it brought back memories of, the 90s and being into Brad Pitt and buying this book. So this is a Brad Pitt book from, I think, 1984 or something. And it really has these interviews that are um, that were that he had promoting his first movies. I think the last one is 7 Years in Tibet. I think that is the last movie where this book has an interview for. So it really has several sections about him and Juliette Lewis. So they met on the set of Too Young to Die. And Brad Pitt is like 6, 7 years older than Juliette Lewis, which was a lot because she was just 16 when they met. And but they really became a couple, and they started living together with a lot of pet iguanas. So for 3 years they were a couple, and I think that's just so miraculous, that they pulled it off. And not just did they pull it off, but it was, from what we know, what we remember, and the way that he still spoke about her after the relationship, and it was a drama-free, yeah, kind of like bohemian, I think, in its vibe. Vibe is not a 90s word, but in its vibe, it was a very bohemian, two very young people like coming together in his house, living together. And so I think, even though I don't like that first movie, and even the second movie they made together in 1993, California, which is really like it's almost like a remake of that very first movie. It's a little bit less sad. California is well regarded. The movie, very well regarded. I think it has David Duchovny in there from the X Files, if I remember correctly. But California as well. It's not in my collection. I just can't watch it. All the violent movies, I think today, a large part of them just had to go. Um, so so they had these kind of like their relationship starting at Too Young to Die in 1990, and then ending around the time that they made California in 1993. you have this couple of, you know, beautiful young actors who still remember each other very fondly, and really think that that should be the story that is tied to this, um, yeah, to this song, to this very rare song. I'll just maybe I will even have a life lesson for you. I don't know. Um, um, but I did want to say one other thing, and that was that when researching this song, I came onto a website, or like one of the research results was uh, Backstage with Bon Jovi. So I was like, oh, it's a fan website, Backstage with Bon Jovi. This is weird that I never saw it before. And then just as I clicked, I was like, oh, of course, this is the official Bon Jovi website, which they released in 2024. So it's this big archive of everything that they could, like, that was collected over all these decades, and it's like beautifully done. And so it's really like a treasure chest, this website. um And I remember that when it released, I thought it was just so overwhelming that I just thought, okay, I'm just gonna block it. I'm just gonna pretend for now that I have not seen this because I have no idea where to start. So I I blocked it so effectively that I just forgot it existed. So when this search result came up, I was like, Backstage with Bon Jovi. That's peculiar that I never saw this website. But of course, it's this one. And that was actually the website that released this clipping about, 18 months ago. I think it was 2024 when this website was released, but it should have been 2023 because that was the 40th anniversary of the band. So either in 2023 or 2024, this website, Backstage with Bon Jovi, comes online, and I'm like, oh, this is just overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me. I just can't deal with it. And that's why I missed this song. So this song was released there. It is like really cute. They have like these photos of a tape that was actually found, like an original cassette. And John Bon Jovi has, in his handwriting, you can see the title that he has given it in the 80s. And there's just a couple of these cassettes, and then you can listen to the songs that are on it. And so that was where this was released. And it was then transferred by a YouTuber from this website to YouTube, and that's how it ended on YouTube. So what I'll be doing I don't know, like the upcoming weeks or months or whatever, is to go through the songs that are on this website and see if I missed any, if there's any of the songs there that are not yet um, on my list, on the rolling list of Bon Jovi songs. And if I see any material there that I don't have yet, then I'll just go onto YouTube and see, oh, is there another fan who has transferred it? And if it has a YouTube upload, if it is a new rare song that's not on a list already and it has a YouTube upload, then I will, put it in the list, and we'll see it here. So yeah, that was my life lesson in Bon Jovi song. Except, of course, that we don't have a life lesson left. It's a good life lesson because it's about the first love. Like for Juliette Lewis, who was just so young. Like, Brad Pitt was, of course, her first big love. I don't know what the life lesson is, but oh. first big love. Wow. And maybe she was his. I'm just gonna go with her being his first big love as well, because men in general, they develop a little bit slower, so they have to be a little bit older in order to have like the same experiences or have the same meaningful experiences. So and this really plays out in those early years, of course. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with him being with her being his first big love as well. And I think the life lesson is that if you are each other's first big love, then that will last forever. I'm just gonna go with that. If they ever end up back together, you heard it here. So yeah, true love. They say the first cut is the deepest. The first love cuts the deepest. So yeah, oh, what a wonderful life lesson. Okay, so that was it for today. We're going back to the outtakes for Slippery When Wet in the next video, and the next one is Too Much Too Soon. So it's another title with a lot of twos in it. Too Much Too Soon, which will be the next outtake and the next life lesson in Bon Jovi songs. Okay, that was it. See you there. Bye.